So Nick, the two best words in baseball are opening day, but you could make a case for World Series.
Yeah.
And here we are, and it's a great matchup. It's compelling on almost every level, but we here in Arizona have to start by talking about all the Diamondbacks that are or former Diamondbacks that are in this World Series.
There's a ton of them. I think the Nationals have 6, starting with probably their most high-profile player, Max Scherzer, although he's also the guy that's the furthest removed from being with the Diamondbacks. It's been almost a decade at this point. But yeah, they have 6 players. Chip Hale, their bench coach, is a former Diamondbacks manager, and then Zach Greinke on the Astros. So, and really, it's been like that the whole postseason, hasn't it? It feels like every time you turn on the TV, it's, oh, there's Paul Goldschmidt or whoever. It feels like there's a Didi Gregorius, somebody that you kind of that at least I have a lot of experience watching firsthand.
Right, and it's interesting how, like you said, Scherzer's been gone the longest, and there's been all different levels of their involvement with the Diamondbacks when they were here. Some guys were only here for a short amount of time, like Adam Eaton, or guys that started off, like Daniel Hudson's a great example. And he was a guy that was in their rotation. All of a sudden now he's the savior in the bullpen for the Nationals.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it's there's not like one overarching theme. I feel like in terms of the way these guys all left, it's not that they were all guys that the Diamondbacks traded away in bad deals, or guys that they let walk in free agency because they were too cheap or didn't have the money to be able to afford them. It just kind of was a lot of guys naturally. It's the way baseball is. Guys naturally change teams, rosters churn, but still, it's strange to look up and see this many guys, especially on one team like the Nationals, or this many guys in one postseason. I can't remember a postseason like it with so many ex-Diamondbacks.
So to segue from the Diamondbacks into probably the number one storyline of the series is the starting pitching. So Zach Greinke and Patrick Corbin being former Diamondbacks, in addition to Scherzer, gives us a nice bridge. So this is a wonderful matchup of starting power. I probably haven't seen this taxing my brain here, and it's even probably better. I was thinking of Atlanta and the Yankees in the 90s when you had the big three in Atlanta and you had Roger Clemens and Andy Pettitte in New York.
Yeah, no, these guys are awesome. And I don't know that we've seen anything like this much pure power in any postseason, especially with the, Cole, Verlander, and Scherzer in one, October, one World Series pitching matchup. Cole especially is just unbelievable. He's going to make himself a lot of money this winter. That's becoming very obvious. The start he had against the Rays in the division series was one of the most dominant playoff performances you'll ever see. And Scherzer is a guy who, you watched him, just kind of as a character on the sidelines when he wasn't pitching during the LCS or during the division series. And he's just such a fiery person, the kind of guy you want to root for, and the kind of guy you sort of imagine is going to really show up and raise his game in a World Series.
There's been a lot of that with the Nationals too, because you've got another former Diamondback, hate to keep harping on this, but it's coincidental, with Gerardo Parra and this whole baby shark nonsense. Sorry, not nonsense. It's fun.
Zach Greinke would call it nonsense.
There you go. But it seems like you have this in the World Series sometimes. I love teams that are kind of loose and they can gravitate. Joe Madden a few years ago in Chicago, what was the saying? Just try not to suck today. And I love stuff like that. And baseball's really been trying to not be all uptight. You see some of the commercials that are out there where they interspace the current players with some of the old World Series heroes and things like that. So I love this Nationals vibe, and everybody's kind of gravitated around the run that they've been on, the former Expo thing going on here, a team that never really was able to figure itself out, and now here they are.
Yeah, and then I guess on the other side you've got the Astros, who are just kind of loaded with talent at basically every position. One of their best hitters during the regular season was Yordan Alvarez. He hasn't done anything in the playoffs. Yuli Gurriel hadn't really done anything before he hit that home run the other night. And those are two guys that are kind of down in the lineup of this Astros team that's got Springer and Correa and Bregman and Altuve. It's just like one star after another. It's hard to bet against the Astros. I think that they came in as pretty heavy favorites here in this series. But, as we mentioned, the starting pitching of the Nationals is just so good. I don't know if it's as good as the Astros. It's close. But if there's something that's going to neutralize those kind of stars, that could be it.
And the atmosphere in both cities should be phenomenal. Washington's waited an awful long time for this. And of course, Houston, we saw what their run in 17 was like, where that city really, they got the benefits of all those bad teams that they needed to build this team. And here they are, a budding dynasty, I think, in many ways. Now, obviously, baseball's changed a lot. And like you said, Cole could be gone. Who knows? There's just so many intangibles. But that's for down the road. Right now, we've got a really compelling series. And who do you like? And how many games?
Oh, geez. Well, I actually picked the Astros and the Nationals in our fine publication back in March to be in the World Series. I can't take too much credit for that because the thing I'm supposed to know the most about the Diamondbacks, I think I had their record off by like 12 games or something. So I had the Astros then. I'll stick with the Astros now, 6 games.
I like it in 6 also. Coming back, you know that there'll be some hiccups. They were pushed so hard by the Rays and the Yankees in the playoffs in a way that the Nationals weren't. I can see Houston winning both games at home in games 1 and 2. And then I can see the series kind of changing when the weather gets cold. I think it was snow flurries yesterday during the Washington Redskins game. So I think that you'll see some weather issues, and I think that that'll play into the whole Nationals vibe. I see them pushing it back to Houston for 6 as well. But watch the games because if we knew anything, we'd be in Las Vegas right now, I think. So it's going to be a great series, and we'll see you on the other side.